Lille's 2026 regional was just this past weekend, and the outcome that culminated from it might have serious implications in the overall Regulation H meta. Ever since Frankfurt Regionals, the first regional of Regulation H, many people have been saying that the meta has already been deciphered, and that is due to the existence of Emmanuele Briganti's brilliant balance team, shown here. This team, or variations of this team, with two exceptions, have been getting first place in every regional, and in Milwaukee, the finals match between Michael Arande and Joshua Lorsi was using the same 6 with slight deviations, and so the supremacy of this 6 was pretty obvious. But in Lille, everything changed. In the whole venue, only 11 teams were those of similar or equal profile to Frankfurt's regional winning team, with the best placing one achieving top 16, piloted by Juan Odriozola. It was only expectable for players to want to deviate from said team, as everyone wanted to counter it. But Lille brought amazing teams and strategies to the table that I think will have a lasting impact in Regulation H meta, and finally bearing the phrase Regulation H has been deciphered. And so, without further ado, let's analyze Lille's impressive meta development that culminated into an amazing and complex finals match between Eduardo Cunha and Marco Silva, ultimately crowning Marco Silva as the 2026 Lille Regional Champion. Hey trainers, and welcome to the channel. Before diving into the meat and potatoes of this regional, I want to shout out some cool teams. Although they deviate a bit from the current meta, a lot of them show promising or returning cores that have some potential. So I want to start off with a really cool one that presents two Intimidators in Incineroar and Salamence. Salamence has the Mirror Herb. This has been a really core strategy recently, where you utilize an Intimidator with a Mirror Herb, so that if you ever face a Pokemon with a Defiant, you also get the boosts. This also really helps, for example, against opposing Dragonites, where you can copy their speed boost, and this gives you like a lot of leverage in a few matches, and I think Salamence has a lot of potential. Dual Wing Beat can KO a Sneasler, Focus Sash Sneasler. It's not as common now, but it is a really cool tech, and it does learn Tailwind, so it is a Tailwind setter, and I really enjoy it. Then we also have the Volcarona Kingambit, a really common pairing, and the normal balance duo of Incineroar and Rillaboom. We also have the Kleavor here with the Clear Amulet and Sharpness, and this Pokemon has Stone Axe, which is a really cool move that set up spikes. So this Pokemon is really interesting. Basically no one ever uses it, but I think that this team is really original. We also have a new form of balance by Leonardo Tedone, and here we can see a really cool balanced team with Rillaboom and Electabuzz as a form of balance, and it also has a really cool grass water core. I really like this team as it is a really fast and offensive team. It has really cool tools. So for example, like this Kingambit Blaziken set is really amazing for me. It's a really cool duo, because Blaziken can just coaching the Kingambit. Kingambit does immense damage, and so leveraging the Kingambit in this way is amazing. You can also leverage your speed boosts in such a way that you outspeed your own Basculegion and give it offensive boosts with the coaching as well. You have the Alolan Ninetales with a Life Orb, a really unique tech, but it has a Terra Ice Blizzard, which is a viable win condition, especially when there are so many ice type weak Pokemon in the format. I think this is a really cool balanced team with a lot of cool setup on the coaching, Swords Dance, on the Blizzard. I mean, this team is really cool in my opinion. The next one is Ivar's team. So this team reached top 8 and it is really fantastic. It features a Galarian Weezing and Toedscruel. This combo was brought by Wolf Click in a real life tournament, and it is a really effective duo. I mean, with neutralizing gas you can turn off Mycelian Might, giving Toedscruel really fast spores. So it is a way to control the board, and I think it's really cool. Weezing in itself can control the board alone with neutralizing gas, so that's also really important. And I think that the team has some really cool duos. I mean, there is Suyen Typhlosion with a Kilowattrel, Garchomp with Kilowattrel, the duo that I already mentioned with Toedscruel and Galarian Weezing. I think that this team is actually really cool as well, and it reached really far on the tournament, so yeah, it goes to prove that it is good. We also have another Toedscruel Weezing team. This combo was extremely common in this venue. I mean, when I say extremely common, it's basically you never see this combo utilized. It's a really niche and finicky combo. But in this regulation, in this regional, we saw a bunch of Toedscruel Weezing, so which I think is really cool. Here we have a rain-based team, and I really like the Comfy with our Gastrodon. I think it's a really cool set, and the light screen here is really important, and it's something that I'm going to talk about in the future. Another really cool team that I want to point out is this Psyspam team with the DozoGiri and Dozo. I think that this team is fantastic. Talonflame is a really cool Pokemon, especially with a Terra Fairy. This is obviously, as you guys can see, a special Talonflame with Overheat and Air Slash. This is so that you don't lose the Gale Wings with damaging moves such as Brave Bird and Flare Blitz. So yeah, I think that this team is really interesting, and with a fake out in Didi to fake out in the grassy terrain, so I think it's really cool. So this is another balanced team with a Fire Water Grass core on the Relevant Dozo and Volcarona. It has the normal duo, the Volcarona King Gambit, but it has some really cool pieces here. First of all, we have the Coaching Sneasler, which I really enjoy. We have the Loaded Dice Baxcalibur, which I think that Baxcalibur is actually a really cool and strong Pokemon. I think that giving it Scale Shot and Icicle Spear just puts so much pressure onto the opponent, and then you have Priority Ice Shard that can hit for super effective like a lot of Pokemon. So I really enjoy this set. I think that I want to point out is the Yawn on the Dozo, something that is really common at the moment. This is the Emmanuele Briganti's team that it brought to this year's Lille regional. Some things to point out is the Covered Cloak Goldengo to stop some Icy Wind speed drops, so that you always maintain your speed and outspeed opposing Goldengos, or at least speed tie with them. I really like the Choice Scarf Alola Ninetales. You can pressure the Icy Wind, you can pressure Blizzard with it. I think it has a lot of potential. Once again, we see the Mirror Intimidate Pokemon. This one is the Incineroar, and we also see the Flamigo. I think that Flamigo is a good call for this tournament, because it can always hit the Goldengo, can always hit Ghost type Pokemon. It does not It is not affected by Intimidate due to the Scrappy, and most importantly, it has Wide Guard. I think Wide Guard is a really underrated move at the moment, and I think that every team should have a Wide Guard Pokemon moving forward. Now we are going to enter the last teams that I want to refer. This team reached top 4. Once again, it is a rain team, but this one has Dozo. Okay, unaware Dozo. It also has another set with a Rage Fist and Annihilate, and it's a really interesting team because you have Weavile. You never see Weavile, basically. I think Weavile is a really strong Pokemon. It is 4 times weak to fighting type moves, but it is extremely fast. It has a good base attack stat, and the stab knockoffs do a lot of damage. I think that having a fast knockoff is really important, and it's something that I want and like to have in most of my teams. Removing an item before a critical attack from your side is amazing. You can just knock off an Assault Vest from an Archaludon and have your in this team it doesn't matter that much, but let's say that we have a Weavile to knock off an Assault Vest from an Archaludon so that your Goldango can KO it. I mean, there's a lot of things here. The other cool thing is that you have the Terra Fairy on the Annihilate, which you can then utilize Weavile to beat up the Annihilate. You won't do that much damage, and you are boosting your Rage Fist. You can also boost your Archaludon's defense with a non-effective beat up. So I think this team has a lot of potential, and it is a really cool team. Then we have the final team that I want to suggest, or that I want to shout out, and it's a Saint team piloted by William. This team is really interesting because it has the White Herb Sneasler, Pokemon that I have been praising. It is a Sand-based team with Dragapult. It has the Volcarona as well, but the thing that I want to talk about the most is the Gastrodon. I think this Gastrodon set is really cool. Not only Gastrodon is a really strong, defensively strong Pokemon, but with the Storm Drain ability you can just negate water type moves and raise your attack stat by 1 stage. But then you have a really cool tech here, and that is the Yawn Whirpool. So to those who don't know, Yawn is a really strong move that, like I've been saying, it is becoming really common on all of these teams, and it is a move that basically in the first turn it makes the opposing Pokemon, the targeted opposing Pokemon, drowsy, and in the next turn, if that Pokemon is still on the field, that Pokemon will get slapped. This is really important because you are with Whirlpool, you can trap that Pokemon in 1 turn, then for example protect the other Pokemon and Yawn with the Gastrodon. Then you can, for example, protect the Gastrodon, bring in Scene, and well, the other Pokemon is now trapped and asleep. So I think this is a really interesting set, and I really like it. I don't know how well Gastrodon can take, for example, a Blood Moon, but I really like this. I really like this set, and it's something that I will consider using, I'm not gonna lie. So this team, I mean, really cool, and congrats to William and all the other people like Jay, Jonas, Marcus, Jacob, Ivar, Leonard and Daniel by bringing these original and cool teams whilst doing well on the tournament. All of these teams were in the top 72, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is the lowest one, but at least top 128. So yeah, this just shows that Reg H, although it is extremely competitive, it has not been deciphered. Okay, so I really enjoy all of these teams. And now on to the teams that I want to mention. While Gonkos over there is still preparing the next phase of this analysis, I'm going to give a quick TLDR of the honorable mentions, and they are the following. We saw a bunch of teams bring balance. I think that this was going to be the most common archetype in this regional. Balance is extremely strong. And we also saw new ways of defining balance with teams that brought Blaziken, Dragapult and King Gambit were a common core that we were able to see. A really powerful core in my opinion. And we also saw the resurgence of some old cores. Such as the Dragapult core with the coaching Sneasler. We also saw a lot of players bringing that. We also saw a clear uptake on the usage of sleep-inducing conditions, with a comeback of Solo Dozo with Yawn, but also with the appearance of the surprising duo of Toedscruel and Galarian Weezing. So sleep is making a return. And yeah, this is the quick TLDR of the teams to mention. I think that if you want to gather some inspiration for your next regional, definitely check out the teams that appeared on Lille, because there's a lot of innovation brewing at the moment. So here we have the two finalists teams. These two players had a really good run in the regional with two very different teams. First of all, I'm going to start with Eduardo's team, because upon explaining it, we can then talk about Marco's team and show and talk about why this team, this unorthodox team, is so strong. So, like you guys saw with the data that I showed and that I'm showing right now, balanced teams are extremely powerful, and balanced teams rely a lot on fake out pressure. In Eduardo's team we have three fake out mods. We have Relevant, Incineroar, the normal duo, and then we have Smeargle. So Eduardo's team is basically a protect the king type of team, where we have Ursaluna, Goldengo and Sneasler, three Pokemon that want to set up. We have Nasty Plot on the Goldengo, Sword Dance on the Sneasler. This amount of fake out pressure and redirection on the Smeargle allows Eduardo to take control of the match pretty easily. With fake out rotations, you can set up your strong Pokemon and just KO everything on the opponent's side. This team is not an easy team to pilot by any means. I think it is a really complex team, even though it has a lot of fake out pressure. It is a really complex team because if you misposition your offensive pieces, you can get blown up, right? And if you lose your offensive pieces, it's not going to be Incineroar and Relevant that can KO the Ursaluna, the Goldengos. And they could, but you know what I mean. So it is a really position heavy team, and Eduardo did a fantastic job. In the stream games, in the top 8 stream games, you can see Eduardo play, and Eduardo showed like a beautiful masterclass of what a balanced team wants to do. I think that Eduardo managed to show the potential of this extremely bulky Ursaluna really well. He showed the potential of this Tailwind Smeargle really well. and he basically did a fantastic job showcasing why this team is so powerful and is something to fear. But then Marco's team was the team that he faced in the finals, and this is where problems start to appear. This matchup, at least from my point of view, is extremely difficult for Eduardo. And why is that? Marco's team is pretty unique, and is unique in the sense that you have 3 fake out immunities. You have the Covert Cloak Incineroar, something that it is not common at all. You have the Goldengo with a Ghost type, and you have a really new addition to the meta on Ribombee. Ribombee has the Shield Dust ability that basically grants protection against secondary effects. It is basically a Covert Cloak. So, you have 3 Pokemon that Eduardo cannot fake out. If Eduardo cannot fake out those Pokemon, he cannot set them up easily, right? And so Eduardo's game plan just falls short. It is a really difficult game of trying to guess what the opponent wants to do, right? And Marco, I think, piloted his team really well, and I think that Marco knew that balance would be the archetype to beat, and it shows by having 3 fake out immune Pokemon. Just shows that Marco was really prepared to counter the current meta. But then Marco also has a really cool offensive core on the Goldengo, Como and Ursaluna. And why is this important? Well, if you guys saw the usage ratings, you don't have a lot of Grimmsnarls, you don't have a lot of Whimsicots. And why is this important? This is important because you don't have Pokemon that can set up light screen. This is extremely important because without light screen, you cannot reduce the damage of these Pokemon, with the exception of Parting Shot. So these 3 here just output so much pressure on Eduardo's team that is just completely absurd. These 3 Pokemon basically nullify Eduardo's game plan of Intimidate cycling, for example. And so this is why Marco Silva's team is so strong. Ribombee started to be utilized in this regulation. It might seem that it was just like a sudden thing, but if you think about it, it is really strong. Ribombee here, it is a Pokemon with 124 base speed. That means that is faster than a non-unburdened boosted Sneasler. So that's a really important thing to consider. And it is a really strong Pokemon, a really fast Pokemon, sorry, that has access to fast Tailwinds, okay? Tailwind is really important, especially if you have these Pokemon that just want to dish the most amount of damage possible with their multi-targeting moves like Clanging Scales, Hyper Voice and Make It Rain. So this is extremely important. Then we have Fake Tears. Fake Tears is extremely important because it can lower your opponent's special defense. This is extremely relevant because these Fake Tears basically means that Eduardo can make his Ursaluna extremely bulky, his Komodo extremely bulky, his Goldengo extremely bulky, and still KO Pokemon. Fake Tears is a really powerful move. And then Ribombee has a Fairy typing and it has access to Moonblast. Fairy types are not common in this regulation, but they are extremely important due to the prevalence of Dragonite, Garchomp, and other Dragon type or Dark type Pokemon. As you guys can also see, Marco's team has 2 Tailwind options, so it is imperative for Marco to have the speed control. And so now we have here 2 teams to talk about. We have Eduardo's team and we have Marco's team. 2 completely different teams with a lot of success. I mean, both reached finals, right? And so what I think is going to happen is that in Las Vegas, the next regional, we are going to be seeing 2 types of teams. One that heavily leans into this balance score of 3, and a secondary archetype that is going to be all about fake out negation. Okay, I think that Las Vegas is going to be filled with this. I think that these 2 teams are fantastic. Just shows that Regulation H is not a bad regulation. It's not a regulation that has already been deciphered, and it just shows that there is a lot of innovation to be had in this regulation. And this is extremely exciting for me. And yeah, I mean, Lille's regional was amazing, and having a finals where we have 2 extremely accomplished players facing one another with such diverse teams and with such rich strategies. I mean, this is just peak VGC for me. Like, this is just beautiful. And yeah, I wanted to just put these 2 teams side by side so that we can easily discuss their differences and why one succeeded where the other failed. But I also want to point out that the only defeat that Marco had was against Eduardo in the second Swiss round. And what does this tell me? Marco's team is amazing, right? It has a lot of counter meta options, but this team is not the be all to end all, meaning that this team can be beaten. And so, once again, Regulation H is not deciphered. There is a lot that we can still do. But if I had to say what Marco's team did well, was the fact that it presented an unstoppable offense in the form of Goldengo, Como, and Ursaluna, and in the form of unfake-outable Pokemon, but that it also had a way to just guarantee really strong hits. This was possible because there weren't Pokemon that could diminish the effectiveness of these special attacking moves. There isn't an Intimidate for special attackers, and so having special attackers, it is already a really strong thing against any balanced team. So this is what I think that Marco and Marco's team did really well. So yeah, this is it. And now some pointers for Las Vegas. I think that we can expect a couple of things. I think that the prevalence of special attackers is going to be really noticeable because of Marco's team here with 3 special attackers as his main offensive force. We are also going to see more Pokemon with defiant. I think that King Gambit is going to make a return in the metagame, especially because King Gambit can just fully resist Goldengo, can resist Clanging Scales from Como, and with a Terra can just Terra Fairy, for example, can just completely wall Como. Although it has a more difficult matchup against Ursaluna, I think that you can play around it, okay? And it is completely immune to Incineroar's Intimidate, where King Gambit is going to get an attack boost every time he gets intimidated. So I do think that it's going to be a balanced breaker. I think that we are also going to see more Pokemon abusing the sleep status. We are going to be seeing more Pokemon running Yawn. I think that is going to be a really powerful thing in this meta. And I think that we are going to be seeing more utilization of Pokemons like the Grimmsnarl or the Wims. And this is because this Pokemon can set up priority light screens. I think that we are going to be seeing an uptick also on the Alolan Ninetales due to the Aurora Veil. I think that Ninetales is not only going to be used as an offensive or speed control Pokemon, but as a Pokemon to set up the Aurora Veil to diminish the damage from these powerful special attackers. I also think that Trick Room is going to make a slight return. As you can see, both of these players and most of the teams in this format utilize Tailwinds. So I think that Trick Room is going to make a return. I think that a Trick Room team with King Gambit and Grimmsnarl is going to be common. Going to Vegas, I think that would be a really powerful stuff to do. But yeah, I think that Vegas is going to be an amazing regional, and I cannot wait to see what people cook up, because this regulation has been fantastic. I've been loving every regional. I've been like Lille regional was amazing, and if you are a VGC fan, I'm going to be honest, like we are in such a good time. Like it's fantastic, it's absolutely fantastic. Just to end the video, I would like to congratulate all the players that played at Lille, and especially these two players that reached finals, and to all the players that still thrive to make original teams. Like it was a joy making this video, because I could just see amazing teams every single like every time I would see something that surprised me, and I think that is beautiful. And yeah, the video is going to end right now, and I would like to thank you all for staying so far, and yeah, thank you so much. I hope this video helped, and I hope that you can use this video as a reference for your team building for a Las Vegas regional or anything like that. So yeah, I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Bye.